Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are, well, a sugar cookie. But it's a sugar cookie and almost like a shortbread cookie, and I'm using my large cutters, as you can see. It is really just a fantastic recipe, especially if you do want to make, large cookies like this. Well, even small ones. I get about 20 large cookies out of this recipe, and you're going to get a lot more if you use a traditional, very small little cookie cutter. What I like these cookies in particular because I dip them in chocolate, and I will show you as we move along here that I actually make them almost in an ornament style, but we'll talk about that in a few moments. So let's get started to make the cookie dough. And you're going to start off with 1.5 cups of brown sugar, okay? And you're going to need either your stand-up or a hand mixer for this. So I'm going to break up that sugar. And then I'm also going to be putting in 1 cup of margarine or butter. So it's really up to you what you have or what you like. It's been at room temperature. I cut it into small pieces because I believe it just creams faster and, well, it helps me move the video along. So we're going to cream the butter with the sugar. Okay, now you are going to beat that much longer than I did because you'll want it to become light and fluffy. But again, I just want to move it along for the video. I just want to scrape the bottom here a little bit. Okay, so beat that till it's light and fluffy, and that might take you a minute or two. It depends on the speed that you're using, but anywhere from medium works pretty good. All right, the next thing we're going to put in is 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're going to put 3 eggs in, one at a time, till they're beat in and, very well combined. That was the first egg. That's our second one. And now the third. And I want to get to the bottom here and clean up these sides a little bit here. Now, once again, you're going to beat this till it's really smooth and that you're pleased with the texture of it, okay? I'm going to raise my speed, so I want to warn you about the sound. Okay. Once again, I usually don't have it at that high a speed, but due to the video. Okay, now we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of baking soda into our flour, and the flour is 3.5 cups, and I'm just going to give it a quick stir here with my spoon, and I'll slowly add the dry to the wet. And we'll want to do it on low because we don't want to have flour all over the kitchen. So just add it as you need it. And really, this recipe, you can put it together really very quickly. Okay, it's coming nicely. It's forming that cookie dough ball. Put the rest of the flour in there and bring it all together. I'm going to raise my speed once again, so I'll warn you about the sound. This is the only part that, well, it takes the longest to make these cookies, but they're well worth it. Once you bake these and you have them and your family or friends try the cookies, you're going to want to make them again. Even though, let me just get my paddle out of here. I'm going to get my excess off a little bit here. Okay, we'll set that aside. Okay, it's best to refrigerate and chill this dough for at least about a half an hour. Otherwise, it's not a lot of fun to work with because it is a wet and it's soft dough. So what I like to do is, as you see, I just put it into a container like this. I put a little plastic wrap on top of it, and then I put it in my fridge for about a half an hour, 20-30 minutes, and then I chuck it. If I still feel that it's too hard to handle, let it go for longer. But the more that you chill it, it's going to be easier for you to roll it out, and it just makes, well, you'll know, because it can be frustrating when you're, trying to roll out a cookie and it's so soft like that. So I'm going to let me put this aside here. Okay, and we won't need this, so let's get that out of the way. So again, I just cover it with some plastic wrap, put it in the refrigerator, and let it chill, let it get so I can handle it. All right. Okay. Now I do have some that I've had chilling here, so I'll get that out. Okay. Now, what I did was, after I chill it, then I form it in these little discs. Okay, and what I would suggest to do is, when you're working with one, put this back in the fridge. Don't let it sit out. This dough is just a lot easier when it's cold. So I'm going to put that piece back into the refrigerator, and now with some flour on my countertop. Okay, now the dough is colder. Now I'm using just my small roller for the video, but you'll want to use, well, better yet, I'm going to get my rolling pin. Okay. Whoops. Well, that had to fall. To get it, and then just roll it out. Now I would roll it out to probably about a ½ an inch. It's really going to depend on you and how thick you want to make the cookies. Quarter of an inch will do it. Half might be too thick. I've even rolled some at an 1/8 of an inch. It really depends. Okay, but anyway, roll out the dough. Okay, I'll just use my little one just to smooth that out. Okay, and then we're gonna grab one of the cookie cutters here. Okay. And we're going to need a pan, of course, and I already did a couple of them to show you. I have the little snowflake and the star. Okay, and then I like to lift them up with a little spatula to get, whoops, underneath here. Should have had a little bit more flour under here. Okay. There we go. That one needs a little repair there. Okay, you're going to bake these at 350 degrees. You can use your parchment paper if you prefer. You really don't have to spray them or grease the pan, but I do like to remove the cookies after a couple minutes, because if you let them go too long, they can tend to stick, and then you don't want them to break, that kind of thing. So 350. And as far as the baking time, I would suggest anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, depending on your oven. Just, you know, check them early on, and so that they don't, you know, that they don't burn on you. Okay, so I'm going to just put this aside here. Whoops, put a little flour here, and okay. All right, now as far as showing you the cookie, I want to rinse my hands quickly here and get rid of some of this excess here. Okay, so I'll put the cookies away, and I'll show you what they look like once they are baked up. And here's one without it being dipped. I actually made a little hole in the cookie before I baked it. And then what I like to do is I dip it in chocolate, let it dry on a cooling rack, the chocolate, and then you can actually make like a little ornament, or I hang them on a little display I have, and I can put the cookies on this little display with a little bit of ribbon, colored ribbon. And let me grab the melted chocolate here. Now generally you would want to melt about 1 ounce of chocolate chips, whatever you have, to 1 teaspoon of solid shortening. And you can use your warmer, you can do it in a bowl in your microwave, you know, whatever you prefer. And then I just take a little spoon, as you see, and I cover the cookie in chocolate like that. Just let the excess drip off. There we go. And then I like to put little chocolate jimmies on the top of it. You don't have to, but it just makes it look cuter that way. So, and you can put whatever colored jimmies you want if you don't want to use the chocolate jimmies. Okay, now I want to show you the rest of them once they're all done. And here they are. We have the snowflake and the star that I dipped in the chocolate, and then I put the colored jimmies on it. And then I want to get, I want to get one of the snowflake cookies. You know, they'll bake up a nice golden brown on the bottom. They will have a hard surface on the top and the bottom. When you break it open, you'll have a crisper cookie. The centers, depending how long you leave them in the oven, they can be a little bit more on, well, the tender side of it. I like to bake them the full time because I like them to be crisp. I like them when someone tries them, they get that great sugar shortbread taste of a cookie, and then that chocolate. So they really are delicious cookies to have, like I said, with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Well, they're fun to make. They're relatively easy. As I mentioned, I think the most difficult part of it is waiting for the cookie dough to, you know, get that you can handle it, because it is so soft. Well, that's it for me today. I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. If you like this recipe and you tried it, well, leave a comment, because I always like to hear from you. And if you, well, like the recipe, I'd appreciate a like. And if you're so inclined, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. So there you have it. You've got the large sugar cookie, shortbread cookie dipped in chocolate. I appreciate you watching Diane Lovetobake, and I'll see you soon.